Hey guys, Luke here, and I'm just going to do a video previewing the 2015 Nrl season. It's not really a preview, it's more of a predictions video. Now, obviously, if this is being watched in like a year's time, or sorry, like at the end of the season, and you're like, oh my god, so stupid, can you just like piss off? Because I assume there's going to be people who are going to be doing that, as there always seems to be. Lots of people want to come back and be like, look our team better, or look how shit you did. But you know what, this is just a bit of fun, just a little bit of predictions. No need to get butthurt or angry about it, whatever. And if you disagree with it, whatever, leave in the comments. But don't get aggressive or anything like that. So I've picked up my 1 to 16. I've picked up premiers, minor premiers, wooden spooners, top try scorer, Dally M, biggest improvers, biggest disappointments, etc., etc. And I will go over all of it. But also remember to make sure you leave your stuff in the comment section below, and also make sure you check out my Twitter page at Mr. Luke on my T, and my Facebook page is also in the description. So let's get into it. So premiers. Also, disclaimer: I'm a Bulldog supporter, so yeah, but I'll try and justify it. So premiers, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. Like I said, I'm a Bulldog supporter, but I believe that we've got a really strong 4-pack, and we've made the grand final last year. And we've only gotten better, in my opinion. Now, I know we lost Finucane, but I think Brett Morris comes in, and also Curtis Rona, as well as Sam Parrott moving back to the wing, and also all the injuries cleared up as well. Massive improvements, I think, for the Bulldogs, and we saw we can grow out wins. We also can blow off teams off the park when needed, I think, the Storm game in particular. But I think what hurt us last year was, I like Corey Thompson, but we didn't have the greatest wingers. Like pace-wise, we weren't that great, which really didn't help. 4-pack, I'd say we're the best 4-pack in the comp. Only the Rabbitohs could really compete with us last year, and now I don't think anybody can compete with us. But yeah, the back line was what let us down. I know Tim Laffey was great, but Parrott's not going to break open games or anything. Like he's not going to have big line breaks or anything. And Josh Morris was injured. Tim Laffey was the only real standout. Corey Thompson was good at times, also exposed at times. But I'm happy if he's on the wing. But I think Curtis Rona will be on one wing, and I think Sam Parrott probably on the other. And I was saying Sam Parrott's not that great. He's not like a big superstar fullback. He's a fullback, but on the wing, I think he's exceptional. He's still got the dummy half runs. He'll make lots of meters from kick returns, as he did before back, but then he doesn't have to worry about making the pass or whatever. He just has to get the ball down, which he's really good at. Brett Morris, on the other hand, he'll come in fullback role, I hope, and I think just his pace alone will be enough to get us over the line sometimes in some really tight games. A lot of times, like when you get the ball at the back, it was the same with Barber. Like if you got someone who you just can't keep up with them, like there's nothing you can do. And I think Brett Morris is the same, and hopefully Josh back to full speed as well. So we've got two quick centres in Laffey and Morris, who are also quite strong as well. So they're my premiers, as well as minor premiers as well, I should mention. But like a lot of the top 8, you can sort of switch them around, that sort of stuff. But I've also just got to say, I think this is one of the most competitive comps I've seen in a long time. Now I know like it seems to be getting more competitive, but I mean, apart from like 3 or 4 teams, like any of these sides can, you know, make a run for it, like can make a good go of the competition. So yeah, it's quite a hard one to pick. So that like it's probably gonna make me look a bit stupid at the end of the season, because it's all gonna be completely wrong. But anyway, so we got minor premiers, and premiers are gonna be the Bulldogs, in my opinion. Wooden spooners, I think, gonna be the Titans, just based off the whole lots of the drugs sort of scandal. Now, this is at the start of the season. I don't know if you're watching it a bit later on, it might have been cleared up. There might all be instant whatever. But either way, the side isn't that great to start off with, and like they don't have many people in the crowd or anything, so they haven't really got many fans behind them, and just lots of issues at the start of the season. So I can see it being a big problem, as we saw with the Sharks, and Sharks had a big like fan base behind them, and it wasn't like they played for the season as well, and that they found it very tough to deal with it. But yeah, I can see Titans being wooden spooners, also competing for the wooden spoon. I'd say the Tigers, Knights, Dragons. Now I'm going to leave Raiders out of that, and I'll explain why in a second. But I'll move on to who I think will be the top try scorer, and that's what I think Alex Johnson will be. Now actually, you know what, let's go through all the ladder right now. So I've got the Bulldogs in first, Roosters in second, Rabbitohs in third, Cowboys fourth, Sharks fifth, Panthers 6, Manly 7th, Warriors 8th, Broncos 9, Storm 10th, Eels 11th, 12th Raiders, 13th Dragons, 14th Knights, 15th Tigers, and 16th Titans. Now, this is my opinion right now. I mean, tomorrow it could be completely different. I sort of not toss and turn, but I switched teams around many times before doing this video, and I decided to just stick with it. So, Roosters, I think they're going to get second, but I don't know if I really think they're going to get second. It's more, I don't know, they're going to be somewhere up there. I think Roosters and Rabbitohs definitely be up there. The 4th spot, I'm not real sure. Cowboys, Sharks, one of them maybe. I know, like, usually there's this one side that sort of comes back from the season before, and I think Sharks are going to be that team. But at the same time, Cowboys, like, I feel like every year we say they're going to be in the top 4 and they're going to make a run for it, and they just never do. So it's really hard for me to 100% say they're going to be a good side this year and they're going to make the top 4 and all that sort of stuff, because, yeah, it's another one like the Warriors. I've got the Warriors in the 8. I'll talk about the bottom half of the 8. Now, this is, I think it's going to be very competitive, but the Warriors in particular, now, they're so hot and cold. Now, every year, they're another one like the Cowboys who say they're going to make a big run for it. 2011, they nearly won it. I think it was from, like, 7th spot or something like that, but they nearly did it. They definitely have potential there, but at the same time, they don't seem to be able to win on the road, which sort of limits them to not being able to get top 4 spots and that sort of stuff. But if they can scrape into the 8, they're a chance. But at the same time, I feel whenever they're in a scrap for the top 8, they never seem to come out on top. The last few years, like I remember that a few years ago, they're taking on Dragons who were like last or near last, and they were fighting for the top 8. If they won, they were still within a chance, and they got absolutely flogged. And I don't know, they don't have the fight for some reason, the Warriors. On the other hand, Panthers, I think they're going to be on a bit of a downfall this year, just due to they had such high expectations this year, and I don't think they're going to live up to them. But I'll talk about that in a bit more. But Manly, 7th spot. I think they will scrape into the 8. I don't think they're going to be particularly impressive. I think lots of the contracts, stuff like that. I think it all depends on who signs where and when it happens and all that sort of stuff. Injuries obviously play a part. But I can see it being a bit of a disrupted season for Manly, and also they've lost a fair few players, and I think they're on the downhill already, as well as the disruptions. But I think they will make the 8 because they always seem to, put up a fight, unlike the Warriors and that. Broncos, I don't think it's going to be a huge homecoming for Wayne Bennett. Well, I kind of hope it doesn't happen. That might sound really bad, but I just think everyone thinks they're going to destroy, but I think they've got a really unbalanced squad. I'm not really particularly impressed with the Haas fullback, all that sort of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, they have good players in there. I just don't think they're all going to work well together. But it remains to be seen. They could come out and destroy. I don't really know. Storm, I think they're another one who are just free-falling really at this rate. They just keep losing player after player every season. They produce a few good youngsters, but I think they're in a rebuilding stage. I think the big 3, they've still got them, but at the same time, we've seen that they're sort of slowing down a little bit, and I don't think them alone are able to carry the teams to premierships anymore. Moving on to the Eels. I think Eels, they're a little bit of a smoky in my opinion. That they could come out and destroy, or they could come out and just be total crap. But we really haven't seen too much of them without Jared Hayne, and in the games we have seen without Jared Hayne, they haven't been very impressive. That being said, Will Hopewadi steps in there. They've got Watmo. They've got a few new forwards in the squad. A big question mark is, it is the spine. I think Pete's a good player, but Norman, Sando, two sort of they're not really leaders or anything. They're a little bit selfish at times, particularly Norman doesn't look for the pass often when he should. And then Hopewadi hasn't played that much fullback, but I think he should do an okay job. Obviously not going to be a Hayne probably, but he might be able to step in there and do a good job. The Raiders, I've got them at 12th. Now hear me out, you might be saying, what the hell? Raiders, Ricky Stewart, like, come on. Now, I think Raiders have recruited really well. I think they could even nearly make the 8. They probably will end up like Wooden Spoon or something now that I said that, but I just think they've recruited really well. They've fixed out a lot of their problems. Obviously, they haven't got the fullback option, like they lost Milford, but I don't think he's that big of a loss for them. I think Whiten can step in and take over, really. I think he's probably more suited to fullback than Milford. He's a bit bigger build, a bit stronger. He's still very fast. He's played a little bit in the half, so he's pretty okay there. the actual halves pairing, they got rid of Campese, which I think Campese was their biggest problem. He was just no good in defence, and didn't really offer much in attack. But I think Blake Austin comes in. He'll come in and he'll do a great job there, as well as I think it's Cornish, his name. I think he'll do a good job there as well. Pretty good kicking game. I don't think they're going to be the biggest. Like, they're probably not going to be a great team this year, but I think they'll win a few more games than they did last year. Also, the hooker they picked up, I think Hodgson, I think he just adds a little bit more to them, because I think the hooker spot was something they haven't had a good hooker in so many years. So I think for them to go and get an England international hooker, good on them. Dragons, I haven't really been that impressed by them. And I know they won a game in the World Cup Challenge and that, but from what I saw in the Charity Shield, they're up against sort of a second-rate Rabbitohs lineup, and they just didn't look good at all. They had all the ball, couldn't score. They keep talking up the bully at this stage, saying, "Oh, they're going to forget about Brett Morris." I don't think so. I think he'll be okay, but Brett Morris is a big loss. I think the Merrin situation, not a great situation for them. And I think it will all unravel. They might start off strong like they did last season, but it will unravel eventually. Knights, I think last year, it was one of those years where they had so much inspiration, they still couldn't really do much. This year, it's sort of died down a little bit. Team is very young, it's quite inexperienced, and this goes for the Tigers as well. Who are in 15th actually. They're such a young side. It's so hard for them. It's so hard to judge them. They could either come out and kill like Penrith did last year, or they could end up just going completely crap. But I think Tigers and Knights, they're going to be at the bottom with the Titans, who I've already talked about. So enough railing on about the actual ladder. Obviously, things can be completely different. It's just my opinion. It's just that's a little bit of a fun video. Nothing to be taken very seriously. So I talked about top try scorer Alex Johnson. I think the Rabbitohs he didn't play as many games as the rest of them last year, but I think he ended up tied for first. Dahlia, I think we'll go to Jonathan Thurston. It all depends on how Cowboys go, but we've also seen with Dally it doesn't really matter how teams go. We've seen teams like, Terry Evans could win it with Manly if they come 7th. Dally M's a little bit weird. It only seems to be halves and fullbacks who really get points. Even if you have a James Graham or someone, even if they actually would have been the best player in the comp, they're never going to win the Dally M. Biggest improvers, I think, are going to be the Sharks. I think they just recruited too well to not go better than what they have last year. When they came, I can't remember if it was actually last. I think it was last year. They've got to improve from that. I don't know how much they will improve. That remains to be seen, but they're definitely going to make a biggest improvement probably out of all these sides. Biggest disappointment, I've got a tie between the Storm and the Panthers. Now hear me out. Storm, obviously, they've always been up there, been in top 8 for many, many years. They've been a dynasty, really, although they got the premierships taken off them, but they've always been at the top. Never been in doubt that they're going to be up there somewhere. This year, I just don't see it going that way, and it's slowly dropping off. And I think they're going to drop out of contention pretty quickly. Panthers, I think the biggest disappointment is based off the fact that people got such high expectations for them this year. I've seen so many people saying they're going to win the comp, and I completely disagree. I've also seen, people saying they're going to win the comp, minor premiers, everything. They're always in the top 4, and I really think they're going to be a drop-off this year. Last year, they did get an easy draw. There's no ifs or buts about it. They did get an easy draw compared to the rest of the sides, and they had lots of injuries as well. But at the same time, I just think a lot of teams took them too lightly, and now this year they've got a bit of a target on them. It seems to happen a lot with the top sides. If they make a big run one year and they come the next year and they just don't go very well, because other teams are like, oh, okay, well now they are one of the top sides, which Panthers being in the top 4 last year, all the teams going to be like, alright, they're a top 4 team, time to step it up, and I don't know if they can hang with them. But that's a little video, went for about 15 minutes or so. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Leave in the comments all your prediction, that sort of stuff. We'll come back at the end of the season, see how laughable or how brilliant I am, and hopefully it's on the brilliant side. Bulldogs, premiers, minor premiers, I don't know. But make sure you leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you for the next video, guys. Bye.